Okay, I am back. For some reason, our previous video there got disconnected. Yeah, they didn't want me talking about the evils of the topic. I was talking about masturbation. I don't know if anybody got it or not, so let me review what we were talking about. Of course, according to certain traditions, masturbation is considered a terrible, terrible evil sin. And we push it down and we deny it, etc. Where in which the reality in psychology is that sometimes people need a sexual release. And under the circumstances where in which people today, not everybody can find, a viable partner, male or female. And if they have overwhelming sexual, passions and desires, I would much rather personally see an individual just masturbate rather than go out and do things like supporting prostitution. Prostitution is a significant social evil. It is a negative, seriously harmful, energetic imbalance for men and women both, and should never, ever, ever be endorsed. Again, we believe in the context and concept of balance and harmony and proper love and balance. Now, we've been talking about sexuality. Let me add to that the context of a proper balance and harmony between a husband and a wife. Now, I've written in my ebook about the kosher soulmates. It's available on our KosherTorah.com page of ebooks there about the Sefirot balance, the harmony between men and women. I highly encourage you, get the ebook. It's only a few dollars there. And I speak about this in the greater detail. The balance between a husband and a wife is not and cannot ever be limited, needless to say, to the bedroom. It really doesn't matter how you get along in bed. It matters how you get along out of bed, where in which the husband and the wife are a team, a partnership. Real love is not just how you feel, it's how you act. Real love is the respect, the honor, and the dignity you show to your partner. And yeah, it's supposed to be erotic. It's supposed to be passionate. But at the same time, it transcends that, where in which you look at your partner and treat him or her as what they are, the fulfillment of your life. If you will allow me to use the Oriental example of a yin and a yang, two halves of a same whole. That's what we call a soul mate. I'm not going to get into the whole concept of soul mates now. I did that in the ebook. It's online. You go check it out. You know what? When we're done here, I will put a link to the ebook in the section here, so you'll find it and you'll have access to it, easy access, I should say. But anyway, within that context, I don't know what happened in the last video. I don't know why or how we lost signal. This internet stuff, I don't understand all the time. I've always had problems like that. And no, I'm not superstitious that I ascribe it to any context with any kind of spiritual source or anything like that. No. We're here to talk about shalom. You know what the word shalom means, right? Peace. Peace means balance. So, sexuality between husband and wife, proper partners, however and wherever, which way we express it, that is what creates shalom. That creates proper happiness and dignity, and the reflection and the balance between the intimacy between a husband and a wife reflects the nature of the intimacy between the physical and the spiritual, between the human soul and the divine, between God and man, Israel and Hashem, any and all metaphors that you want. It's a beautiful relationship. It's one of the most important, sacred, holy things that is the ultimate goal and fulfillment of everything in life. So keep that in mind as we proceed. So I am now going to look here. Yeah, you could not hear before. I know that. Okay, so let's move on. And if anybody's got any types of questions and stuff like that, let's see what's got. Let's see what you got. Transmuted. Svi's mentioning here about transmuting sexual energies. Anything equivalent to that in the Kabbalah? Well, yeah. All right. For many of you who might be familiar with in the Eastern Oriental traditions, they refer to something called Kundalini. And some people say, oh, it's all evil idolatry. No, it's not. Come on. So many people, look at anything that's not ethnically Jewish as idolatry. Something, you got people out there, so-called rabbis, call themselves rabbis who are not ordained. They say all kinds of crazy, weird stuff in the name of Judaism, and people don't know, and they follow these people. I look at some of these rabbis online, and I'm very concerned, because ultimately they're almost like a modern day Jesus, a modern day Yeshu, in which with a little bit of knowledge, they grab large followings and then tell them things that are not kosher and lead them off the proper path. So let's put things into a context. Whenever the Orientals would talk about Kundalini rising, it's not idolatry, evil, bad, or wrong. It's energy. The same energy that we've been talking about. Kundalini, we call it by whatever Hebrew names that we want. It's the opening and the awakening of one's own inner energetic essence as it ascends above. In the Kabbalah, you can call that Or Choser, or Mayim Nokbin, the power or desire from below to rise and ascend above. It is a transmutation in which the individual is able to embrace and open themselves up by releasing inner repressions, having a proper state of inner psychological and spiritual balance, which leads them to a greater sense of inner peace and harmony. And that comes about with the proper, healthy relationship of sexuality in the partnership. That's what this is all about. It's about balancing energies in the universe. So yeah, we do have that in our tradition, and yeah, it is kosher. So for those who are, I'll give an example. In the Hindu tradition, many of you might have heard of the famous book called the Kama Sutra, in which they have all these kinds of positions of sexual positions shown, how you're supposed to make love and all that stuff. There's nothing unkosher with that. It's all a matter. We don't look at pornography. All right. Pornography, kind of has a place, believe it or not. You sometimes have couples who literally don't know what to do or how to do it. And there actually is pornography, believe it or not, for married couples, which actually show married couples how to do this or that without any of the weirdo kind of stuff that is so prominent today. I've looked, I see pornography is big business. Out of the top websites that are in the world today, like Google and Yahoo, they got all these other like porno websites. Really, I can't understand what people are watching. It doesn't make any sense to me, but what the heck do I know? But anyway, learn what you need to learn. But I don't encourage pornography as a pastime. I think you should focus on your partner. If you're with your proper partner, as I know I am with mine, your partner is the world for you. Your partner is everything for you. And in my opinion, I think that's the greatest fulfillment of everything. It makes all the other stuff look like nothing. So yeah, when you focus on spiritually, making sexuality a spiritual experience, just like Song of Songs, you elevate it to the highest heights. Is there a Jewish mystical method, Moshe asks, to channel and redirect male desire similar to the yogis in Kundalini, a way to avoid spilling seed? Well, again, this is fundamental to what the rabbis teach about pi halacha. A man is supposed to bring his wife to climax before himself. For a man who is properly sexually trained, he can hold back his orgasm, in my opinion, he should, for the longest time, to give his wife absolutely every opportunity of fulfillment for herself. And that's just a matter of discipline and physical control that the individual man needs to learn. Are there specific techniques of how to do that? Yeah, I mean, maybe there's something like that online. I can't really tell you how to do that within this forum, but yeah, and I would encourage it. Men, pleasing the missus is your absolute priority. Whatever and however you can to treat her like the queen, the goddess, the Shekhinah that she is our highest obligation. And that's it. I don't know, somebody's asking here about mind control. You want to know what? Yeah, it is mind control. Because you have to control. Remember, according to our tradition, sex doesn't begin in the body, it begins in the mind. You remember the famous biblical pasuk, Adam knew his wife Eve? In the Kabbalah, we say that all union, yichud, balance, sivug, begins in dot. In other words, it all begins in the mind. So when you can control your mind, then it controls your body. And that's really the best way to have proper holy sex, if you will. And yes, sexuality is supposed to be kadosh. Anything that the husband and wife do is in kiddusha. Even if you're a prostitute who becomes Jewish, and you bring your 7 beds of lust, they become now the Holy of Holies. And everything that was in the past doesn't matter. Now it's holy. And everything that you do now is holy. No puns on that now, please. But anyway, yeah, that's the way we're supposed to do it. That's the way it's supposed to be. So, been working the same thing, spent years studying to be a yogi. Well, again, yoga has understandings of things in practice that the Kabbalah has, if you understand the depths of Kabbalah. But most people today usually don't understand the depths of Kabbalah, and it leads them to misunderstandings of things. I see mentions here of Tibetans and Sufis and stuff like that. Yeah, well, again, all of those traditions are almost identical and similar to our own. So that's the way it's supposed to be. The Japanese have block prints that made up wedding manuals. You know, that's probably a smart thing. You know, I'm going to share with you a story now, which is absolutely true. My friend Hai is here. Hai, this is a story that was told to me by mutual friends of ours. There was a story that was told to me, and I heard this from the psychologist herself who dealt with this. So this is how I know it was a true story. Apparently, there was this one small Orthodox school in which all of the young rabbinic scholars there married right about the same time with their young wives. They were like 19, 20. The girls could have been as young as 16, 17. And after a year or two, surprisingly, none of the women were getting pregnant. There was something that everybody recognized was not right. And they went through all kinds of medical tests, and there was something which was not medically wrong with them. So they went to this psychologist. And the psychologist interviewed the women to see if anything psychologically was wrong. And she found that every one of the women had a single complaint. Why was the act of sexual penetration so painful? And it dawned on her, no, this is a dramatic pause in time if you're catching the drift. What was so painful was that these women and their husbands did not know the right hole to insert, and they were all acting anally as opposed to vaginally. And you can say, no, come on, with a whole bunch of people. If the psychologist who did the interviews herself did not tell me this story, I wouldn't believe it. The problem was that in this group, sex was such a taboo topic. They honestly, actually did not know how to do it. That's a problem. That's a realistic problem. So because these things are so taboo to the point where in certain circles they don't even show women's pictures, it's a problem. We have to address that. If we want to talk, and especially in Kabbalah language, about rectifying the Shekhinah, elevating the Shekhinah, that means elevating the female. We elevate the female by restoring the Shekhinah, the proper balance and harmony and love that's due, to its proper place, not by pushing it out and making it evil and wrong. That's a problem with the male psychology in imbalance. And everything and all the sexual perversions that we see is, again, sign and symptoms of these imbalances. Everything is meant to be a proper statement of balance. Somebody is saying here about Shabbat night sex. If you wish to observe Shabbat as a special time of sexual intimacy between a husband and wife, fine. But you know something? Saturday night and Sunday night and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights are also pretty good. And during the day. Certain rabbinic traditions will say, don't do it during the day, only in a place of dark. Well, if that's how you wish to observe, if that's what's good for you, fine. But in our modern day, where people are like more what's the word? Spontaneous. Again, what goes on between a husband and wife within the context of their privacy, in my opinion, that's up to them. So pretty much we've covered what we needed to cover. Yeah, some of my words I know are iconoclastic, but my words are meant to create harmony and to create shalom. to address imbalances and to make harmony and peace between people. So if you are single, if you have the opportunity or the possibility of finding yourself in a healthy, monogamous, balanced relationship with a member of the opposite sex, pursue it. And I will tell you that, yeah, sexual intimacy is one thing. It's all great and holy and all that, but it's the getting along every single day, learning compromise and balance and respect. This is where real caring and intimacy is developed. It's easy to get along in bed. It's hard to get along out of bed. But that is where the real tikkun rectification happens. So in that respect, the relationship between husband and wife is a very, very essential and foundational one. It's the foundation of families, the foundation of all spiritual and psychological harmony and balance. In our Torah tradition, we don't believe in celibacy. We don't believe in pirisha in that respect. You got to be balanced. There's got to be harmony. And that's how we look at the foundation of the universe. All righty. So let's sum up. If there are any more questions, we'll take it. 26 hours a day, 8 days a week, if that's what you're up to. Just remember something. You have individuals who can be very, very, what can I say, sexually active at any age. You can be in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, or whatever, right? Some will say, well, the more sexually active you are, it weakens your body, makes you age, and you grow old. It's actually a rabbinic opinion expressed in the Shulchan Aruch. I don't think that's valid at all. I think the more sexually active one is in a proper, balanced, harmonious relationship keeps one young. In that respect, again, it's all about balance. It's what we call in the Kabbalah, l'shem yichud, kudsha berichu u'shechinte, for the sake of the unity of the Holy One, blessed be He, u'shechinte, and His Shekhinah. Everything revolves around that context. So you'll take that all into context and Be'ezrat Hashem. Again, remember, you're going to find many opinions of many of my fellow rabbinic peers who are going to say, no, you have to be like this and that. You know what? If that works for you, fine. But if what I'm sharing with you works for you, go for it. But I will just conclude one thing. Guys, again, you treat the wife like a malka, like the Shekhinah, like a goddess herself. All right? And women, make your husbands your boyfriends. Treat them right. The more we treat each other right, the more we honestly and truly love one another, the greater harmony and balance we have in our individual lives and our families. And that's how we're going to bring shalom and peace to the world. Let's conclude on that note. Thank you all again for joining me. Again, I'm your host, Ariel Tzadok from the KosherTorah School, KosherTorah.com. Again, take advantage of all the things that we have for you for learning and everything else. We have our daily classes and other things for our, supporting class students and things that we have here on public. And we're going to continue to provide and offer you things. So again, thank you all for your interest and for being here and your support. And looking forward to working with you again real soon. Have a great night. God bless. Shalom.